Hey squad, welcome back. Well, in this video, I've got something really special for you guys. You see, every now and then, I get the opportunity of having a sit down with someone who I believe is truly talented. Someone whose musical journey I've had the privilege of watching grow from the very beginning. And this time, it's 1.Timothy, a phenomenal musician, producer and artist who I've mentored since his childhood. Now, I've seen him grow, develop his sound and carve out his own lane in the music industry. And now he's out here making serious waves. So we had a sit down and an in-depth conversation about what it really takes as an independent artist and producer in today's game. And he dropped a ton of gems which you just don't want to miss. So stay locked in and have a listen because some of his experience could be just what you need. Let's jump in. Here you go, yeah. But actually, let me flip it back your way, man, because you know you sparked a thought there for me because of the accomplishments that I've seen you make over. Well, I've known you your whole life. Yeah. So, and I've seen your journey from a kid that we used to pick up and put on the drum stool. I'm never gonna stop talking. I'm never gonna stop talking about that. Lift you up, put you on the drum stool. Your feet could not reach the pedals because you were so small, but you had the rhythm, man. You had the rhythm, and you could play that kit without the kick, man. From there to where you are now. So you were a musician first, and then you became a musician and a producer. And now you're a musician, a producer, and an artist. Give us a background on that journey for yourself, because on my channel, on the Music Tech Training channel, there are people who are either in that process or thinking about that, and it might well be of help to them. So tell us why and how did it go? How did it come to be?
You know what? Okay, so you said why and how, yeah. Why? Because as a musician, and I'm sure that many other musicians and yourself can attest to this, as a musician, you are constantly in creative mode and you're constantly creating ideas. So I played drums was my first instrument, then learned how to play the piano and guitar. But once I knew how to play piano, it triggered the idea to say, okay, well, I want to create music because I can play music. So that's when you came in and taught me how to create the music and the platforms and all these things. I always accredit Dr. Duce for teaching me everything that I know when it comes to this music production world. Once I knew how to then create music after I learned how to play it, there was a long period of time where I was in around so many different, very talented, very successful today creators and artists and musicians, like the biggest and the best, you know what I'm saying? And over that time I was producing for a lot of artists, but eventually it came to a point where my purpose had changed. I used to want to be the DJ Khaled type of guy, the steel bangles, if you know any of these, these producers where, you know what I'm saying, their name's on the track, but you don't know why. And they're just, you know what I'm saying? That's how I used to want to be, man. That was the goal, honestly. And then one day, I decided that I didn't want to compromise my faith to do this music thing. And that's when I decided to make the move and become an artist. But it's interesting because the whole journey is it's a short to long-term goal. The only thing is, I didn't know that I'd ever become an artist, I'll be honest with you. Because I learned how to play music, then I learned how to make it and put it together, and then I became the person who could then perform on the thing I've made and the thing that I've played. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why, man, I just always been in sessions with these artists and thought, man, I would do this on it, like, or you know what as well? For all the producers out there who understand this, when you're a producer and you're working with a lot of these artists, how many tracks you make that never see the light of day? Hundreds, if not thousands, if you've been doing it long enough, like myself. Thousands will never see the light of day. And they're just there. You're never gonna, I mean, unless you send it to someone that you think is gonna be good enough to elevate the track. So what happens is, I then made the decision to say, you know what, let me try and jump on it. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, it's history now, isn't it? Where, you know what I'm saying?
It's incredible. It's incredible. And you know, it's because, you know, you're living proof that it can be done. And also, I suppose, it's not for everyone. Not everyone who can play instruments, can produce and can maybe sing or write. Not everyone should, right? But for those who are, and for those who should, they will know within themselves whether they should or not, because you know, you got people who are chances and that who aren't really that serious and aren't willing to put in the work. Okay, so you know, if my philosophy is this: be great at something. Be great at something. Okay, so once you're great at something, there are other things you can do on top. In addition. Wonderful, but just be great at least one thing. You know, some people are great at a multitude of things, but be great at least one thing. Okay, you happen to be great at a lot of things.
No, but you know what I would say though. But you know what I would say though. I'll be honest though. Just sorry to cut. I'll be honest. This is what I will say. I think that the perspective is two things that we have to consider. In order for me to become an artist, I had to become a good enough producer. In order for me to become a good enough producer, I had to become a good enough musician.
That's it.
So I still went the great building up one thing at a time, like we talked about in the beginning. I still did that. However, now because that portfolio is built up, it seems in the front, well, he just does everything. But I actually didn't do everything at one point. Do you know what I'm saying? At one point, I was only playing in church, bro. You would never hear a tune online. And then at one point, you would never hear my voice ever. And then now you're hearing all of those things. But then I do agree that there are some people who are great at multiple things. And I'm very grateful that you consider me to be one of those people. But I think it comes out to this. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to do what needs to be done. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to do what needs to be done. And my thing was this, like, this, I wanted this to be done. I wanted to achieve this record. So I learned how to sing. I learned how to produce. And I'm willing to do that with anything, everything. Because that's the goal, the long-term goal, right? So then the short-term goal is going to be me saying, I need to learn how to do this before I can become an artist. That's how I break it down. And if you're not willing to put in the work, not just hard work, but committed work, deep work, then don't even bother. Like, honestly, you don't have to, like, you can pay someone to do it. It's easier. It's easier.
Bro. That's diamonds right there, you know. I want the diamond trigger. I need the diamond trigger when we're dropping diamonds right here. What you just said there, that little breakdown, bruv, that is it. Yeah, that encapsulates what the sentiment that I was trying to communicate here. And how you've actually broken it down in your experience. I need, in order to move to step 2, I need to master step 1. Meaning I need to become good as a musician because I want to be good as a producer. Now I've moved, and then you build like that, and it ties into what we were talking about earlier. So what's your advice therefore, Tim, to someone who is contemplating you know, the maybe becoming maybe they're a musician and they want to become an artist. Okay, then maybe they've got songs written. Let's say they're good at let's say playing guitar and maybe writing songs, but they really want to become an artist. What would your a bit of advice be, for example?
I would probably say, so if you're someone who, just for that example, it could be anything, but for the example of, you know, if you're a musician and you want to make that transition into becoming an artist, I think the first thing is you know what I did a lot? I did so much experimenting. I think that there's an unnecessary pressure of thinking that if I record this, someone has to hear it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and I have so many songs no one will ever hear. But because as a musician, I'm allowing myself to experiment. I'm allowing myself the freedom to see, is this going to be good? There's so many tracks where I've just literally gone on, played what I need to play as a musician and said, let me try this artist thing, sang on it, and it was terrible, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, but guess what? I learned from that so that the next time I do it, I can become better. But the great thing about that is the musicians who want to become artists who are listening, no one has to hear it, bro. You can send it to the people who you know will give you constructive criticism. Or you can be your own judge and say, but you have to be honest with yourself, otherwise, you know what I'm saying? You have to be honest with Like, you can listen to your own track and say, you know what? This isn't good. This isn't what I want. This isn't how I want to be presented. And I'll be honest, that's the formula I took to get here. I had to do so many songs in the studio on my own. No one heard. No one will know. And to this day, you won't hear them. But because of those reps, that's the reps. That's what I was trying to say. It's the reps I did. That's when I said, all right, cool. This one can come out. And the first ever tune that I ever sang on was Moonlight with featuring Aaliyah Lara. That song is just about to touch 4 million streams. All praise to the Most High, which is crazy. Like, never would have thought. I never did music. I never did music for no streams or no money. And I can say that with my full heart because I do music for the Most High. I say that with my full, you know, my full chest. So that's, do you get what I'm saying though? But the reality is, you could have put the tunes out. Which obviously, why not? Because I don't like to waste that. We don't like to waste. You know what I'm saying?
Like to waste.
But then as well, where do you want to not waste? Do you really want to put something out that you don't think is ready and not waste that, or do you want to count them as reps and then once you get to the next set and you say, you know what, this sounds good, I'm going to put that out. That's that's my advice. I would say, get your reps in, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to experiment. Get your reps in and just be yourself, man. Get whatever that message is that you want to get through. Get on the mic, bro. Get on the whatever it is. Get in the front of the stage. You know what I'm saying? You already playing those parts. But you know what I'm saying? Now you want to do this one. Man, this is I'm trying. I'm not saying I'm there because there's a long way to go still, but I've gotten to at least a cool level where I'm able to do music full time. All praises to the Most High, and that's how that's the way I took. You know what I'm saying? So man, hopefully that makes sense.
Of course. It's honest, and it's living proof. It's living proof. You know, you're living it, and I love the fact that there are, like you said, there are different ways of approaching it, which is. One way is you've got to be honest with yourself.
You have to,
and don't allow yourself to be thinking, okay, well, this is my shot. I'm gonna write I don't know, 3 songs, and they're gonna be bangers, and everyone's going to like them. No, not necessarily. Don't fool yourself. If it sounds rubbish to you, it's gonna sound rubbish to other people as well. Do you know what I mean? But at least
thumbs up in it.
It's simple. But there is, you know, there is the other way of getting truthful, honest feedback. Constructive criticism from people who aren't going to just pat you on the back and say, oh, well done, you're making music now, great. Nah, get folks who are honest, and also putting stuff out there as well. You know, the platforms are there, but don't just put junk out there. You know, if you want to get feedback and test the waters, put put stuff that you actually believe in out there
Yeah.
if you want to get that feedback as well. So yeah, there's a combination of ways, but I think more than anything, it's like you said, it can be done, but you've got to be prepared to do the work, you know?
Have to.
No, I love it, man.
You have
I love
to
the
be,
answers,
and
you know?
and that accountability. I mean, we've talked about accountability last time, and
Yes.
honestly, man, if you and even to acknowledge that you're not an accountable person takes accountability. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't even acknowledge that, then maybe that's not the way to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know that you can trust yourself to say, let me finish this, what I'm trying to say. If you can't trust yourself to say, this needs work here, then, you know what I'm saying, don't do that to your detriment, because you are holding yourself back if you cannot be accountable to yourself and say, it's not ready yet. But then on the same side, how do you not over, you're probably asking, how do you then not over analyze or try to be too much of a perfectionist? Well, that is where you need to decide when the time is to finish a track. Everyone goes through that. Everyone deals with that with a song. You know what I'm saying? That's not a new thing, but that still takes accountability. So hopefully that helps, man. And any artists that want to, any musicians or even producers, man, just imagine, you know what it is? Just imagine what you could do. What would it sound like if you led the tune?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Imagine that's what made me want to find out.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So, which is amazing. But I think it's been a great conversation, man. I mean,
definitely.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm so glad that we managed to cover these points, because, you know, a few things here that were on my mind, and it's Friday today. It's a nice way to round off the week, you know, as we head into the weekend, and, you know, I'm looking forward to the next one. My first job, when I went out to go to do some work and get paid for that, was a summer job I had at 14 years old. I used to work in a factory, a fake fur coat factory, and my job in there was to brush down the coats in the sweltering heat. I mean, mate, it was not fun. I was 14 years old. I'm a kid. It was like child labor. It was like child labor. We're several years in now, and I'm really and this is it, man. I'm absolutely loving the journey, man. Yeah.
I'm ahead. You've got 26,000 subscribers. You got a partnership with Waves. Shout out to Waves. Like, this is crazy. Like, the journey.
Shout out to Output.com, man. Output, come on.
Shout out to Output. Native Instruments.
Native
man, you know where we are, man.
You know. Now you can watch the full interview over on Patreon, where Timothy flips it on me and asks about my journey. Go to patreon.com/MTTC to find out more, or check the links in the description. Hope to see you over there.